back, please. Ask your question.
Good evening, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I was listening to you respond to some of the questions earlier, and one of my questions was touched on, so I guess I'll move on to the next one. But just to piggyback off job creation, one of the major aspects of job creation under the MPP is the NABCO program. And quite recently, you would recall, sir, that they were threatening to go on a demonstration because they were owed 9 months arrears. Now, even Heal Ghana, and this is something I followed keenly, so I've had conversations with them. Heal Ghana, even before the 9 months, were owed 7 months. And so if you combine the two, they're complaining that they haven't been paid 16 months arrears, and that's a major problem. What do you intend to do about it? And if I can quickly, this was just a piggyback.
No, so I have one question.
If I could just
so that Fianco can come, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
If there's the opportunity. Thank you, Fianco.
Thank you. Good evening, Your Excellency. I want to take my question from your manifesto for this year's election, and I'm looking at provide better health care for all. Now, you did mention that you were going to offer incentives for healthcare workers to buy 1 vehicle each with engine capacity up to 1.8 liter. Now, for clarity purpose, is it that these vehicles, they would buy them outside and they will be duty free? If that is it, we know we have about 5 automobile companies in this country. Your government brought them. How would this policy boost their production and also enhance the kind of people they would want to work with? Because if they are going to import these cars, we are not really helping them. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm grateful.
Held it.
Let me remove my cap. Before I proceed to ask my questions, I would like to emphatically state that these questions were not given to me by anyone here. They are from my head, so I'm going to ask. Now, Mr. Vice President, my name is Kojo Sheldon. I represent Kojo Sheldon Studios. The first one is about 322 pharmaceutical doctors on social media right now are planning on suing the health ministry about unpaid, allowances. Now, for someone that has highlighted in your manifesto that when voted into power, you are going to, improve or help improve the condition of services when it comes to, or conditions of service when it comes to our health people. For right now that you are the Vice President, what can you do to help these pharmaceutical, doctors who are, contemplating on suing the Ministry of, Health? My second question borders...
No, Kojo. Don't do that to me.
Mr. The question
you have one question.
Oh, boss.
One question.
So my question, the second question is about perception. Don't do that. Boss.
Don't do that.
Oh, bro.
Don't do that. I didn't allow
perception is very, very important.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Nane Akese. I'll come back to you. Nane Akese. Nane Akese. Peace FM.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Nana Akese. I work with Peace FM. You have promised abolishing bed tax, e-levy, flat import duty, one-time tax amnesty, among others. If you really believe that that is what Ghana needs, why should we wait till you become the president and not implement it now?
Need to go to this. I see Samson Ladi.
Good evening, Your Excellency. So, my question is coming from a group of students on scholarship abroad. They are concerned that the Scholarship Secretariat is not doing what it has to do for them. At page 27 of your manifesto, you speak about harmonizing public scholarships. And there's a purpose for it. You say the purpose is to give full visibility. Beyond the visibility, what will you do about this now and not later? There are some of them, for 20 months, they have not received their stipends. In a number of universities in the UK, in Warwick, Coventry, Nottingham, they are under threat of losing their studentship. In Birmingham, 11 of them have already been withdrawn and they are facing deportation. Will you inquire, particularly knowing about the Fourth Estate's investigations dubbed Scholarship Bonanza, about what appears to be a racketeering in that place? And will you forbid and prohibit politically exposed persons wealthy enough, known in society, from accessing these scholarships? Thank you.
I think the question is very well. Let me go to the regions. We've done plenty. Accra, Western North. Please give the microphone to the Western North guy. We've done Eastern, we do Western North, we'll do the other regions as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Esposito Inokedusei. I work with the Beat FM. Somewhere in last year, the former President Mahama on his campaign tour in Western North region claimed Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. Do you believe Cocoa Board has collapsed? And what is your plans for Cocoa Board? I don't want to go deep. Thank you.
Thank you. Sami Yafe.
Excellency, good evening. Thank you very much. My name is Sami Yafe. I work with CTFM and Channel 1 TV. So a few meters away from us is the site for the construction of the National Cathedral. We know huge sums of money have been sunk into the project. What will you do about it if or when you become president of this country? Thank you very much.
Excellency, please take these questions and then.
Thank you very much. Let me take them in the order in which they were asked. I think that the first question had to do with NABCO, the Nation Builders Corps, and the arrears that have been owed to NABCO. I think that the program had about 100,000 people on it, and I think initially it was supposed to be a 3-year program, and then would be renewed and so on. But I think that so far, out of the 100,000 that were taken, 34,000 have exited into permanent jobs under NABCO, and the others are still. But I think that the issue that Bella raises is the arrears and how we are going to deal with it. I've raised this issue because this is not really this is some information that has come to me already about the arrears in the NABCO program, and I've raised this issue with the Minister for Finance and trying to persuade them to make these arrears payments. So we will follow that up on behalf of the NABCO employees. The second issue had to do with providing better healthcare in the manifesto and the issue of cars and how these will affect local companies. I think that what is very clear when you look at the manifesto is that we did not really say it was only for imported. The incentives would only be for imported vehicles, because you just said you will provide incentives. Clearly, under President Kufuor, there were incentives for healthcare workers and also for teachers to bring in vehicles, and they will waive the import duty, and that basically worked but was abused. We think that with digitalization and the unique identity of people, we can better monitor this situation. But the issue is that we need to be able to see how these teachers and these nurses could also acquire with the necessary incentives from the local manufacturing companies. I mean, as you know, the numbers of teachers and nurses are very, very large relative to the production capacity of some of the firms here. But we are leaving that open to discuss with them and with the manufacturing companies here to see how we can incentivize. Our preference clearly is to buy local. And so we will work with them to see how best, if they can meet the terms in terms of production on time and all of that. I think we will try to incentivize them, but we will leave it open for discussion, and that's what we've done. The other issue was that we wanted to do these tax reforms, import duty, flat tax, tax amnesty, and so on. But why don't I do it now? And why do I want to? I must have a manifesto. Otherwise, if I do everything now, if I could, what would I do when I come into office? I mean, how can you do everything now? Even President Mahama, former president, who was president, I'm only vice president, but he was president. Why didn't he do everything then? I mean, why is he coming back? He had full authority. I don't have full authority. The budget that has gone to Parliament, which has been passed, is not my budget. Is it my budget? It's not my budget. The budget goes in the name of the president. It doesn't go in the name of the vice president. But when you have to think about what new do you want to do, you come up with new ideas. And I've come up with new ideas, which I want to do when we come into office. Everyone who is running for office, whether you are Kamala Harris or you are Bawumia, you still have to think about what you have to do when you get into office. And this is why I'm presenting my new ideas as to what to do. Samson talked about the scholarship students and all of that. And I think this is a very, very important issue. There's nothing more heart-wrenching than taking a student abroad and not being able to take care of them in those circumstances. And I think that I believe, and this is what we are saying, that one needs to, first of all, harmonize these databases so that you have full visibility and transparency. And also, we have undertaken in the manifesto to publish all the beneficiaries of all of these scholarships as they come, so that everybody knows who is getting the scholarships and so on. And again, I've been made very aware of this issue. It's not new, because students have and parents have gotten in touch with me about the awards and the scholarships and so on. So we're talking with the Ministry of Finance and the Scholarship Secretariat. I think they were able to make some payments to some of the UK students and so on. But we will follow up on that because it's very urgent. Cocoa Board is on the verge of collapse. I'm not aware of that, but we'll look at that. I cannot comment on that. It's not. I don't know where the data is coming from. Then the National Cathedral. National Cathedral, again, is a very, very important issue because, I mean, taxpayers' money has gone into it, and many people would like to see it completed. And I believe that one should have an engagement with the churches and all the stakeholders for us to see how best to get the funding to complete the project. But I think that we need to sit down and talk if the design has to be looked at again to make sure it can be completed. We have to put everything on the table, but I will be minded more by the churches and the church leaders and the discussions that we should have with them on the way forward. But I think it's an important issue. Thank you.
The sports fraternity, so the PFM. Hello. PFM sports. Your Excellency, there was a question about the pharmacy staff and their arrears. If you can clear that one, then.
Yes, the pharmacists are my very good friends. But you're talking about 322 pharmaceutical doctors who are threatening to sue the Ministry of Health for their allowances. Again, I want to take this one up. This is the first time I'm hearing about this particular issue. I think it is Sheldon who raised it. I'm not aware of it, but I think it's an important issue that we should really resolve. So we'll talk to the Ministry of Health and Finance. Thank you very much.